guys, welcome back to my channel, Mommy Loves to Read. I'm Olivia and thank you for joining me today. So I hope everyone is having a terrific Tuesday. It is Tuesday today when I'm filming this, or you're just having a good day, whatever day it is today. This week has been an interesting week for me. I actually had to go to work, and this is the first time I've actually been in the building since March. The last time I went to work was the week before spring break, so like the first week in March. So it's been like a little interesting this week, but I'm very thankful and grateful. It has been a smooth transition, and yeah, it's been wonderful. So I am here today to do a tag. I absolutely love tag videos. I feel like they're really fun. I feel like you get to find out new stuff about the person that you're watching, because most times we're just here talking about books. So I feel like these videos give you a chance to kind of get to know more about me as a person. So I am doing the booktube before and after tag that was created by Kay over at Kay the Reader, and I'm going to link her channel down below. If you are not subscribed to her channel or you have never watched any of her videos, go right now and do it. I'm just kidding. No, but really, go right now and watch her videos. They are awesome. They are amazing. I watch her videos and I also follow her over on Bookstagram. So if you're on Bookstagram, go ahead and follow her too. She is awesome and she created this tag, and so we're gonna hop right into it. So the first question is, it has 9 questions, and I have them written down on my sheet of paper. So we're just going to go ahead and start reading, and hopefully this video won't be too long. So the first question says, what were your favorite genres before BookTube, and what are they now? So this was a really interesting question for me, because I feel like I've always read, but I really didn't, which kind of sounds odd, I guess. I really didn't know the difference between genres. So like, I've always just kind of been like a mood reader. So I kind of just pick up a book and I read it. And if it makes me happy, yay. And so I didn't really have like a particular genre where I was like, oh, I really like sci-fi, or I really like fantasy, or I really like Afrofuturism or something like that. I kind of just read whatever makes me happy, and I feel like I'm still like that now. I wouldn't say I necessarily have a favorite genre. I have maybe certain genres that I read more of, but it's not necessarily just because I like that. I go to the library a lot, so part of it might be just because my library has more books in that specific genre, and so I have more access to it, or it also is just like from watching BookTube and things like that, maybe authors that other people are recommending just happen to be in that genre. So yeah, I didn't really have a favorite genre before BookTube, and I guess now I'm gonna kind of say I don't really have a favorite genre, because I'm just definitely a mood reader. So my mood is gonna determine what I'm gonna read. Okay, the next question is, who were your favorite authors before BookTube, and who are they now? And once again, this answer is gonna be kind of similar to the first. I still don't have a favorite author, I would say. And in the past, I didn't have a favorite author either. There are some authors that I would say now I have read maybe multiple of their books. And because of that, anytime they write a book, I'm like, ooh, I gotta go grab it. But I still wouldn't say they're my favorite author. It's just like every time I've read a book from them, it has hit. And so I will name those authors. That's gonna be Elizabeth Acevedo. I have read The Poet X. I have read With the Fire on High. And then, well, she didn't write it, but I listened to it on audio, Pride. And every time I listen to a book by her or read a book by her, they are amazing. Like, I don't know what it is, but her voice when she does an audio is just like so amazing. I remember like I listened to The Poet X because I wasn't able to get it at my library, like in the paperback copy, and it was like amazing. I listened to that audio in one day because her voice is just like, you just want to keep listening and listening and listening. I feel like I could listen to her speak all day long. So she would, if I had to say I had a favorite author, she would fall into that category. Another person that I would say is Jasmine Ward. I have read 2 of her books. And I tell everyone, I don't know, like whenever I recommend a book by her or talk about her books, I don't even know how to describe them. The first book I read by her was Men We Reap. And if you have not read that book, please, please, please go read it. I cannot describe it because this book is just, it's so real and it's so raw and it's so amazing. But it's just wonderful. Every time I read something by Jasmine Ward, I love it. Like I've never read anything by her and just been like, yeah, it was okay. Like her books hit every time, like every single time. And then another person that I guess I have read a lot of multiple books from them will be Maya Angelou. I've read 2 or 3 of her books. they're all really, really wonderful. My favorite read from her would be Mom, Me, and Mom. So if you haven't read that book by her, go ahead and read it. It's awesome. So yes, that's my answer to number 2. My long-winded answer. So number 3, do you read more now or did you read more before booktube? I'm gonna say I read now more, but I feel like it's a combination of a couple of things. So like I said, I've always been a reader, but I guess a couple of things happened that kind of stopped me from reading. Well, I shouldn't say stop. Anyways, let me just tell a story. So I've always been a reader, but I feel like now I read more. I would say, one, it's because of booktube, because it's opened my eyes to like a lot more authors and a lot more genres. But I also think part of the reason that I have been able to read more is my kiddos are getting older. So I have 3 kids. I have a 4-year-old and I have twins that are 2. And when my kids were like a lot younger, it was just harder for me to read more because, you know, little people, well, they still get into everything. But when they were younger, like when I had like 3 kids, 2 and under, it was really hard for me to read because someone always needed me to do something. So by the end of the day, I was like, I just want to go sleep. But now that my kids are getting a little older, they kind of like to do their own thing just a tad. That gives me more opportunities to read. So I think it's because of that and because of booktube. So yes, 2-part answer. Number 4 says, and what other ways have you changed as a reader since joining booktube? Ooh, this is a good one. I think I have read more genres than I used to read, as far as there's certain genres that I didn't even know existed. So I think that, and I also think like I have found, I guess before I would just kind of, like I said, I'm still a mood reader, but before I would definitely just pick up any book and kind of read it. And now I guess I kind of have more of a focus. I really like to read books by Black authors, whether they are men or women. And then Black authors, people of color across the diaspora, I guess. So that's kind of like more of what I read versus, I guess, before I just kind of would read any book. I didn't really pay attention to like authors and stuff like that. I just kind of would pick it up and read it. And now I feel like I'm kind of more of a niche reader, or like I read different genres. Like I like sci-fi and I'll read self-help and all those different things, but I'm a little bit more, I guess, cognizant of who the author is before I pick up a book. Not saying that I won't read books by other authors, but the main books that I read are normally by someone who is gonna be a Black author, whether they're African American or African, you know, like across the diaspora, versus me just getting a book by someone who's going to be like a non-white author or something like that. So yes. Number 5, did you post videos before becoming a booktuber? If so, what type? I guess yes, I would say so. I decided to start my YouTube journey. I decided to start another channel probably like a couple of months before I started this channel. But the reason that I guess stopped posting on that channel and started posting on this channel, it's kind of like a family style channel. I don't know. I guess my family is boring and I didn't feel like I had anything to post about. And because I do like to read, I would post, I guess, a lot of book videos, like my reviews on books and kind of like things like books are something that I like. It's one of my interests. So I would post those videos, and I felt like the type of person who would subscribe to that channel, that's probably not the thing that they're into, because they're subscribing to that channel because they're looking for more like family style things. And when I'm doing a bunch of books and stuff like that, it's not really anything. So that is why I decided to create this channel, because I was talking about books on there more than I was talking about anything else. So I feel like it's easier just to have a channel that's solely dedicated to books. Like when you click on Mommy Loves to Read, there's no question in your mind like, she's probably going to be talking about some kind of book or something to do with reading, because it is in the title. So yes, that's the answer to that. Number 6, what hobbies outside of reading have you picked up from other booktubers? So when I was writing out the questions, I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, I haven't really picked up any hobbies. I've always been someone who liked to journal, so I can't really say that. Maybe like the way I've journaled, I see some people do like book journals and stuff like that. And sometimes I will, like as I read, I'll bring my journal along and kind of like take notes and things like that I want to remember from a book. I guess the only hobby that I could say is Bookstagram. Is that a hobby? I started doing Bookstagram. I like it. I think it's fun. I like taking pictures and kind of posting just like little thoughts about it, I feel like it's different than doing like a video. I feel like on here, I can really just talk and get in depth with my videos, versus on Bookstagram, I'm just taking a quick picture and kind of just putting my quick, maybe like my first initial thoughts or like how I'm feeling in that very moment, maybe not after I've processed and all that stuff. And so I like that. I feel like that would be considered a hobby. And then I would consider this a hobby, the booktube channel, because of, well, no, because it said because of other booktubers. But I feel like this is a hobby too. So we're just going to count that in this hobby, okay? There you go. Number 7. Do you read with the intent to glean or learn something from what you... Do you read with the intent to glean or learn something from what you've read, or more for entertainment purposes? I wrote that question weird. I feel like a little bit of both. I feel like whether you're reading... I feel like even if I'm reading like a particular book for entertainment, there's things that I can learn from it. For example, I read the book Such a Fun Age, and I feel like that book would definitely, I don't really know what genre it falls under, but I feel like that's more of like an entertainment read. But I did learn things from the book. The book had interesting things in it that I learned and that I took away from that book. But if someone was like, ooh, what's a good book to read, I would not recommend that book as something you would learn. Versus right now I'm reading All About Love by Bell Hooks, and I definitely feel like if I was going to recommend that book to someone, I would be like, that's a book you're going to learn something, where you're not reading All About Love by Bell Hooks to be entertained. Because that book, its intention, I feel like, is for you to learn. It's going to, like, every page I have annotated on it, which is why I'm only like on page 15 of the book, because I keep stopping and having to annotate and stuff. But yes, I feel like I learn from every book that I read, but I guess my going in point of the book sometimes is different. Like I said, when I went into reading Such a Fun Age, I was reading it purely for entertainment, but I did take away some things from it. Versus right now I'm reading All About Love by Bell Hooks, and I went into that knowing it was not going to be an entertaining book. Like, I was reading that to get something from it. So yeah. Number 8, did you buy more books before you joined BookTube, or do you buy more now? I'm going to say I buy more now. And I was going to say I'm not going to blame it on BookTube, but I kind of am. But here's why. I love the library. I am so sad with everything that's going on because we have not been able to go to the library. My kids actually last night? No, because we read story last night. The night before, we were reading stories before we were going to bed. And we have a book called Lola Loves Stories. And it talks about how Lola's dad takes her to the library on Saturdays. And my kids were like, Mommy, can we go to the library? And I was like, I'm sorry, guys. The library is still closed. My library there are some here in Texas that are open. But the one that is closest to me that we love, where we like know the librarians by name and they know us and all those things, is closed. So we have not been able to go to the library. So because of that, lately especially, I have bought a lot more books because I can't just go check them out from my library. And although I do have the Libby app, which I love, if you are looking to read like audio, if you are wanting to listen to audiobooks or read digital copies of books for free, Libby is amazing. But I am one of those people, I just like the touch and the feel of a book. It's nothing better than like just holding a book. And so because of that, I have started to buy more. One, because lately the library has been closed. But even before that, normally my criteria for buying a book is if I absolutely cannot find it at my library, then I will buy it. And because of BookTube, I have been introduced to lots of books that my library just doesn't have. I'll look, and like I said, most of the time it's if the library absolutely doesn't have it, I'll buy it. For example, I wanted to read The Warmth of Other Suns. And my library did not have that book. I checked other libraries to see if I can get it loaned to my library, and no one had it. So I winded up having to buy that book. Another book was like the Trevor Noah book, Born a Crime. I wanted that book and my library had it, but the whole list was like this long. So once again, I had to buy it because I was like, I've been wanting to read this book forever. So yes, I'm going to blame BookTube. BookTube has me buying a lot more books. Which, now I need a bigger bookshelf because I have a teeny tiny bookshelf that only has 2 shelves. And it has my books and my kids' books. So if you guys have any recommendations for somewhere to get like a bookshelf, not too huge, I kind of just want one with maybe like 4 shelves, please leave it in the comments down below because I definitely am in the market for a new bookshelf. And the last and final question is, what are some of your own favorite booktube videos? This one was fun too. When I was writing it out, I was thinking. So the first one that pops in mind is my very first video that I made for this channel. I made that video to talk about the book Zenzali by Jay Mazzapo. That's how you say it. I'll link it down below if I figure out how to do that, because I don't really know if I know how to do that. But I read that book and it was amazing. I love that book. It was one of my favorite books from last year, and I had to talk about it. I remember I had went out that day and I had hung out with a friend, and I read that book before me and her hung out. And when I finished it, I was like, I need to tell someone about this book. So I decided to make a video about it. And so that winded up just being my first video for this channel. It was very, very impromptu. And so I really love that video. I guess another one of my videos is I have one video on my channel where it's like a library haul. Or was it a library haul? I think it was. And I was talking about a book that I read to my kids. And my daughter actually came upstairs and came in the room. And normally when she does that, she'll just sit by me. But this day she decided to talk. And so I was saying in that video how she really liked that book, but since she came in the room, she actually got to give you guys her own opinion of that book. So I thought that was really fun, because I think sometimes you hear people say like, oh, this person liked the book, but you heard it out of the 4-year-old's mouth. She really did like the book, so that means it was a good book. So yes, guys, that is the end of this tag. Thank you so much, Kay, for coming up with this tag. I think it was really fun just to reflect and see how I've changed and how I've grown, and maybe how I'm kind of still the same. So if anyone out there would like to do this tag, feel free to do it. I can't wait to hear other people and what y'all have to say in these videos. And if I decide to tag anyone, I will put their channels down below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.